like you said, most voters would say that President Trump would be better equipped at handling these big issues like the economy, like inflation, like immigration, amongst other things. But it seems like as of now, this ticket and this party, the Democratic ticket, the Democratic Party, seems to be very heavy on what people are calling vibes and momentum, a little light on policy, because as of yesterday, this is what Jackie Heinrich, a reporter with Fox, posted. On the opening night of the DNC, Harris's campaign website has no policy section. There are bios for Harris and Walz, a tab to donate, a tab to volunteer, and a merch store. There's clearly been a honeymoon phase here. So when do you think that honeymoon phase is over, and then there's going to be questions about the Harris-Walz policy and how that stacks up to what a second term of Trump would look like?
I think it would normally end on when the serious campaign begins right after Labor Day. But in this case, I think when it really ends is with the first debate, which is scheduled right for September 11th. Is that
I
correct?
believe it's September 10th.
But when that debate occurs, you'll move into a serious policy debate. But Trump needs to keep really focused on immigration, inflation, and something that the Republicans understand and ordinary voters understand, but Democrats are downplaying, which is that real incomes have gone down. Not much, but a little bit. People are hard pressed. Credit cards are maxed out. This is not anecdotal. If you look at the statistics, people are really hard pressed, ordinary voters. The Democrats' answer to that is more spending. I mean, the $25,000 freebie down payment for a house is absolutely classic Democratic policy. You've got a problem, let's pour money into it with a specific beneficiary. The Republican answer wouldn't be a federal answer at all. It would be, let's work on making it easier to build housing, because that's the only way that the price of housing goes down. It goes down in two ways. You build more housing, and you get rid of inflation so that the interest rates go down. And that's a market solution. But Kamala Harris, she talks about McDonald's. What the Republicans ought to respond is, that's the last job in the private sector she had.
She did lay out her economic proposal last week, and President Trump responded saying that went, what he said, full communist. He called her comrade Kamala. Do you think, A, that's an effective attack, and B, what is his proposal to combat this? Do you think he's effectively laid out what his economy would look like?
Let's say what she's done, besides this targeted money for new home buyers, and I assume she's all in with wiping out all the student debt. The proposals that she laid out last week would spend between 1.7 trillion and $2 trillion that we don't have poured into this economy. It would be incredibly inflationary. Since then, when asked how she's going to pay for it, she said, I'm going to raise taxes, in effect, because the tax cuts under Trump will expire. And that will depress the economy. So she's depressing the private sector by raising taxes, and she's going to increase the public sector by spending trillions. That's really, I wouldn't call it communist, but it's full democratic socialist of the European variety. So it's what a European Democratic Socialist Party in Germany or France or Austria, whatever, would propose. Trump's counter proposals, he's running as the outsider. He's normally going to be relatively vague, but he has said, I'm going to save Social Security. He hadn't said how. He's going to end up But he's going to save Social Security, but he's not going to do any of the things that you would need to do to save it. He's going to simply kick that can down the road. He's going to not tax tips. Kamala Harris has borrowed that. And he's going to presumably renew his tax cuts. And unless you cut spending and regulation, you just won't have an economy that can pay for all that. But Trump running as the outsider is going to try to keep things vague. And his job is to pin the tail on the donkey.